Hey guys, Dr. Corey here. Welcome to your motivational mastery session. How about we get into the thick of commitment today? So I received an email from a client who, this person has lost a significant amount of weight loss in the past and he's gained it all back. And so he's really working hard now towards some big health and fitness and weight loss goals again. And he's questioning the key, to getting everything to click. These were his words. He said, what key to me am I missing to really make everything click? There's an aspect of me, he explained, that does not like to do hard things, ... at all, he said. This is something that we've been working through together, the hard, what it means, what it looks like, how he perceives hard and what he does with it when it's there. And, he explained to me, I've done hard things before. He listed a bunch of other things, including losing a significant amount of weight and maintaining it for some period of time. But he ended his email, interestingly, with the question, is it the way that I was brought up? Is that why I choose easy things? And, sure, that the environment we grow up in does shape us significantly, from what we believe to how we think and to how we behave. Of course, nature and nurture, they both play a role. But so knowing that how you were brought up does play a role, then what? I asked him. So that's a reason. Maybe. Okay, now what? What do we do with that? And he said, well, no, my answer to that is to change it. Okay, but how? He said. And he followed that up with, I look at all of these people who are competing, and guys, here we're talking about physique competition. And this person in particular, I know that he watches like power lifters, and so it's people who have strength and physique goals that he is really paying attention to. And he said, I watch these people and I just want that level of commitment, he said. So here we are. There's a lot mixed up in that, guys, right? But I like his question of how, I really do. And I think that we can use that, the how, as a foundation for understanding what commitment is. So I said to him, you want that level of commitment, but do you know what that level of commitment requires? What is underneath that level of commitment? Do you know what they do? Do you know what these people sacrifice? Do you know what they say yes to and what they have a tendency to say no to? How do they think? What are the processes that they use for handling hard? Okay, so I asked him all of these questions. And I said, I think it would be really worthwhile for you to reflect upon them. Maybe interview some people who are high performers, high achievers, those individuals who you perceive as having accomplished a lot and who you would classify as committed, and find out how they would operate, okay? But today, guys, I want to give you 3 ideas here, all backed by research, okay, that can help you tune into your level of commitment. And one of them is focused on the mindset side, okay? One of them is focused on the physiology side, the bodily side. And the third is focused on the environment, okay? So we're going to hit this from 3 different angles. But the thing to remember is that they're all linked and each one influences the other. But here's the first. I want you guys to consider that and this may be something, maybe you have heard it before, but you probably haven't. Willpower doesn't work very well. So stop relying on your willpower and start practicing the building of skills instead, okay? Committing is not about gritting your teeth, but it is about grit. And grit is skilled resilience, all right? It's about harnessing and practicing passion plus perseverance. It's understanding your purpose, which is really what that boils down to, is it's your cause, okay? And that's what emboldens and enlivens your passion, the fire that you have underneath what you're pursuing. And that, guys, that takes a lot of reflection, okay? And it takes a willingness to wrestle with some tough questions. What is it that drives me, that gets me out of bed in the morning, that gets me excited? What am I actually passionate about? What can I get passionately angry about, okay? It's using every chance you get as an opportunity to practice stretching. This is what grit is, passion plus perseverance. You know, my client is practicing impulsive behavior. That's what he's practicing. He's doing what feels good in the moment most of the time. So he's getting really, really good at that. He's practicing immediate gratification. So we can commit to avoiding hard stuff, or we can commit to, you know, when we perceive hard, thinking about that situation as a gift, okay? A moment in time, a chance, a cue to do exactly the opposite of what we feel like doing. That's what I do, okay? That's one how for you guys. When I'm on the treadmill, when I'm cycling, you know, I like to use fitness as an example for myself a lot. So that's when I do my best thinking. That's where I really feel a lot of hard and challenge. And I think I want to stop. Guess what I do? I ratchet it up. I turn up the speed. I don't slow down, okay? I gain momentum. I harness energy and drive the energy, okay? Why do I do that? Because I want a strong mind, okay? Yeah, my body's going to be influenced too by that, but I want resilience. I don't want my habit to become slow down when it gets uncomfortable, okay? I want to move toward that uncomfortable. So I want hard to always represent, here's my favorite acronym that I made up, harnessing awareness, resilience, and determination. All right? So number one, stop relying on willpower. Start building your skills. Number two is learn how to breathe. This is super important, guys. But first, this. Revise the belief that there is one key. I'm coming back to my client's original statement, that there's one key to figuring it all out and making it all click. All right? We are multifaceted human beings, and there are drivers of our thinking, of our feeling, and of our behavior that exist both internally and externally. All right? If there's a foundation for making it all click, you know, it would be mastering the physiological practice of breathing. So how do we do that? You know, how do we practice breathing in a manner that can net us greater clarity, calm, okay, confidence, reduced physiological stress and anxiety? And I've used a technique that is similar to the one Mark Devine, if you're familiar with him, a former Navy SEAL, teaches his students, and it's what he calls box breathing, okay? So picture a square, and starting at one corner, you're going to empty out your lungs as much as possible, all right? And then you're going to breathe in through your nose, and you're going to hold that. So you're going to start fully empty, hold that for 4 seconds, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and you repeat that. So it's 4, 4, 4, and 4, the box, okay? Now, since I started practicing breathing, and this was years ago, all right, it's funny, my friends have commented on this because they hear me doing it and I don't even realize that I'm doing it. I will spontaneously, automatically start breathing in a more controlled manner and more deeply, like in the way I've just described, in situations where the intensity is rising. It just happens now because I've practiced it so much. But to develop the practice, guys, you have to practice. So I would recommend doing it daily. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to spend hours at a time every day. Set aside 5 minutes, maybe twice a day, or have a cue to practice it. You know, I've often recommended, I call this timeout on the toilet. Okay, this is my clients when they use the bathroom. That's where they're practicing their breathing. Okay, when you're uninterrupted and you're sitting on the toilet, and what's great about it is that you know you're going to have to use the bathroom every day. So you have perfect cues. Okay, you begin pairing. So now you've connected the bathroom with your breathing. Don't take your phone in there. It will help you concentrate, and all of you guys know by now that you can't multitask. So do your business, then do your breathing. Okay, here is number 3, right? You've heard me say this before, and you're gonna hear me say it again because it's so important. Engineer your environment. Most of us, guys, we take for granted how influential the environment is on how we think, feel, and act, okay? And yet we've all heard the quote about how we become like those we spend the most time with. The people in our lives are environmental, okay? Individuals who are obese tend to hang out with individuals who are obese. Smokers congregate with smokers. Athletes and those who really care about their fitness and health and doing that regularly, okay, they have tribes of their own as well. This makes sense because one of our most basic psychological needs, guys, is connection. It's relatedness. We will gravitate towards those people whom we feel loved by and significant among, as well as those whom we feel like we can love and appreciate back. So when we belong to a tribe of like-minded individuals, okay, we feel more integrated, we feel more whole, right? And like what we're doing is acceptable, like what we're doing is honored. Now, I want you to think about how this can play a negative role, though, if the behaviors and the mindsets that your tribe has adopted are unfavorable, or if they're unhealthy, or if they're even dangerous, okay? We're influenced by those around us. Now, we are also influenced by the things around us. So if we have goals to lose body fat, and I've chosen to set the micro goal, perhaps, of avoiding processed, snacky, salty, crunchy foods. But then I have those foods in the house. Is that engineering my environment in the best possible way to make engaging in the best possible behavior easy? I'm not, guys, I'm not. And that's just one very small example. We got, you know, we get a lot of credence to the internal resources that we can build to enhance motivation. And we hear, you got to develop the passion and you have to identify your why because it needs to be a real internal goal. And guys, that's all true. And it's very, very important, but we can't only focus on the internal because the external has such an incredible influence over how we think, feel, and act. So the people, the things, you know, what we see out there, what we hear, what we put our attention towards within the environment, and what we're even, you know, unconsciously being biased by, we're primed to move in certain directions in our lives, and we need to reflect upon what we can do to create the most optimal conditions for success. So look around in your lives, the people, the things, your space, you know, and reflect upon how that's influencing you. And ask yourselves, like, Do things need to change? Do people need to change? You may have to make some difficult, uncomfortable decisions if you really want to commit to something, all right? Commitment is built over time, guys, through an understanding of these sorts of elements that drive it. And it's not just one thing that you either have or you don't, born with the capacity to commit. Are we influenced by how we were raised? Absolutely. And yet, you've heard these 3 things that we can influence to change and shift how we commit, okay? So, commitment does rest on the physiological, body, psychological, the mind, how we think, and environmental engineering skills scaffolded over time with consistent practice. All right, guys. Awesome. Before I sign off, I want to remind you of the Diet Doc Life Mastery new podcast that just started last week. You're going to be able to find it on SoundCloud. It's also in video form, so head on over to our YouTube channel, The Diet Doc Weight Loss. Subscribe so you never miss an episode. And just want to thank you guys again for your awesome support and collaboration. Have a great day. Bye-bye.